it's like those things you pray for and you don't get them until you're ready. And I think, whatever growing I had to do, it was the divine time in alignment when Jennifer and I started like being interested in each other, because we had been around each other before. We worked together before or something. But this was the time where we just felt and got to see each other in that way.
This guy is acting strangely, and he will try to ensnare Jennifer in it. As of right now, Common and Jennifer Hudson are still together, grinning for the cameras, posting just enough to let people know they are a couple and to give the impression that love is sweet. However, child, do not be fooled by the well-polished photos. The streets are whispering something different, while the two of them are maintaining their cuteness. Keep your heart in check, Jennifer sis. Let us be honest. Even though the clickbait headlines will shout Common Blast J-Hud, she is not being disparaged by Common in interviews. He is telling her all about his past. Jennifer has had the same treatment as all the women before her. He begins as Prince Charming, publicly praising them, but when the relationship becomes strained and the issue of commitment arises, he disappears. Because of this, despite Jennifer's insistence that she is happy, supporters are already anxious for her. Let us not forget the beginning of this. In 2022, following months of rumors, their romance was made public. People initially believed the conscientious rapper and the EGOT maniac were a cute couple. Their jobs suited one another. They looked wonderful together, and it was like they were in love. As of right moment, they are still formally a couple. However, behind the cheers, there have been whispers of a breakup since late 2023, when comments began to take the lead in interviews, fiercely proclaiming their love while Jennifer kept things more subdued. The murmurs only became louder, and it is the warning sign that fans keep returning to, because a man's kind remarks cease to sound romantic and instead sound like damage control when his record is as disorganized as the Commons. The internet responds with, "Did not he say the same thing about Tiffany Haddish, Serena Williams, or Taraji?" Whenever he describes her as amazing or a gift, it is impossible to ignore the pattern. In actuality, Common has established himself as the smoothest getaway artist in Hollywood. He avoids using drama or cheating scandals to ruin relationships. When forever arrives, he simply fades. And the last thing a woman like Jennifer Hudson, who has risen to the top with tenacity, style, and consistency needs, is to be associated with a man who is unsustainable. Fans are warning J-Hud that she might be the next person on the list of heartbreaks, which is why they are calling this the true blast, not a disagreement or a slight in an interview, but history exploding through the smiles. The internet is mocking the entire situation, while Jennifer assures everyone that she is doing well, and Common is praising her, because you already know how this story usually ends if you are familiar with Common's romantic past.
Somebody from, when you meet people from where you're from, y'all got an unspoken language that's there, and it's something about that's kind of cool, man, because I don't think I've been in a relationship with anybody from Chicago since high school.
If you have been listening, you will notice something out of the ordinary. Therefore, let us talk about who is actually speaking in this connection. It is Common, not Jennifer Hudson, who does the most of the interview work. He always makes sure to include Jennifer's name in some way when he sits down with a microphone in front of him. He has referred to her as an amazing human being and a blessing, and he has even told Gayle King that he feels as though he has discovered a true companion. The man is acting as though he is trying out for the title of Spouse of the Year. Jennifer, meantime, has been silent. Indeed, she has occasionally shared a photo, grinned when people asked, and even acknowledged that she is content. She does not go too far, though. She is not obliged to. Class and control are key components of her identity as a talk show host and EGOT winner. She has put in too much effort to allow her private life to overwhelm her business. The problem is that because they have seen this play before, Common was unable to commit. Fans are no longer fawning when he passionately praises Jennifer. They do not believe it. Is he overcompensating, they ask? Is he doing this to show the people that he is sincere this time? In the back of your mind, the pattern remains unchanged. The fact that Jennifer's silence gives the impression that she is simply letting him speak does not help. Some believe she is defending her reputation. Some believe that she is allowing him to make his own mistakes. In any case, this is how the internet interprets it. Even Common is aware that his reputation is uncertain, therefore he is putting in extra effort to prove himself. And to be honest, it is the fun part. The weight of his own previous connections colliding with his current relationships, not Jennifer disparaging him or Common hurling mud. Even if his interviews are endearing, more people side-eye him and ask, "Did not we hear this before?" The more he defends their love. It ended the same manner, did not it? While Jennifer may be content in private, Common is the one running the campaign in public. And that is a warning sign and not reassurance for fans.
Jennifer Hudson,
Yes.
your girlfriend, how special is that relationship to you?
Oh man, that relationship is one of the greatest blessings and most important things in my life, in my whole journey in life. The friendship, the partnership, the life partnership, just the connection. Man, it's one of those things where you don't know truly like what true partnership and relationship is until you get there.
Jennifer Hudson only needs to view the highlight reel of Common's previous relationships to truly understand what she is getting herself into. It is giving a rerun, sis. The ending is always the same, even though the faces and compliments may change. First up is Serena Williams. Common and Serena were the it couple in the mid-2002, fusing their lives as sports and music royalty. He talked about how she pushed him, how he respected her discipline, and how she was intelligent beyond her athleticism. He finally met a woman who could match his intensity, they believed. However, Serena was direct about the breakup when it happened. He was unable to make a long-term commitment, thus they broke up. Kamen acknowledged years later that he was the one who withdrew. People heard the same old explanation when he claimed it was about concentrating on himself. Taraji P. Henson came next. They had a serious romance about 2005, which they both eventually acknowledged. Common even claimed to interviewers that they had an indisputable chemistry and that she was unique. The conclusion was not made any more pleasant by Taraji being Taraji. She eventually acknowledged that Kamen was just not prepared to provide her with the stability she desired, which is why the relationship ended. Once more, there is no drama or significant scandal, just his abandoning the notion of permanence. Fast forward to one of the most renowned women he has ever dated, Erykah Badu. The entire neo-soul scene was a flutter in the early 2000s because of that bond. Common subsequently acknowledged that the breakup devastated him, despite the fact that he wrote and rapped about her and went around as if enthralled. He struggled to maintain the long-term glue that keeps a partnership going from deeply in to deeply out. The fact that he left with the same justification is telling, even though fans continue to make jokes about the Badu impact. He was not prepared. Then there was Tiffany Haddish. The internet genuinely cheered for that couple. Tiffany could not stop grinning as she spoke about him after they went public during the pandemic. In interviews, Common, as usual, said all the right things. She was attractive, she had his back, and he could see a future with her. Does that sound familiar? Because they were finished less than 2 years later. Tiffany acknowledged that she was caught off guard, but Common blamed it on his hectic schedule. This man has the same schedule he has always had, fans said, dragging him for it. He simply was unwilling to commit. A clear picture is painted when these relationships are arranged side by side. The women are not the main focus. They are all well-liked, prosperous, and strong. The man in the middle is the focus. Common has established a reputation as the guy who can publicly declare his love for you while discreetly withdrawing when the subject of forever is brought up. Fans do not question Common's current affection for Jennifer Hudson when they gaze at her. They have seen this movie too many times, but they do not question his words when he compliments her. They are aware of the conclusion. He is not going to stay. Listen, the court of public opinion is the one that always has the last word in celebrity relationships, and social media already has the gavel in the case of Common and Jennifer Hudson. Common has essentially been dubbed the Mr. Cannot Commit of Hollywood by the internet. The recurring theme in TikTok stitching, Twitter threads, and dubious Instagram memes is the same. In other words, they assume he will eventually back out, regardless of how wonderful the lady is or how ideal the relationship appears on the surface. Supporters of Jennifer are pleading with the universe to change this connection. They make remarks like, J. Hud is the only person who can tame him. She is too mature, too strong, and too successful for the same old tale. They believe she will end the cycle after seeing her talk show, EGOT, and resilience in general. However, the other half of the internet is already posting predictions. People should stop dragging him and let him live, according to the entire crowd. They contend that he is now wiser, older, and perhaps prepared to commit. They will cite interviews in which he discusses treatment and personal development, claiming to have learned from his mistakes. They believe that Jennifer Hudson is the ideal woman at the ideal moment. However, this debate, like defenders against skeptics, is precisely the reason this relationship is receiving so much attention. Jennifer is no longer the only thing they have in common. It is a story that has dogged him for many years. Every time he opens his mouth to compliment her, the internet does not hear assurance from the conscious rapper who cannot stay. A countdown clock is heard by them. As a result, even though Jennifer Hudson is praised on talk programs and looks stunning on red carpets, the internet community has already divided. There is a hope that she will be the exception at last. The opposing viewpoint maintains that she is merely the next chapter of a well-known novel. In any case, the warning from the internet is obvious. Jennifer's heart is next in line if history repeats itself. Ultimately, there is more to this whole affair than just two people dating.